Hello and welcome to Holiday Bowl for the third annual Bill Todd Memorial here on Shaw Spotlight. I'm Ryan Menny, joined by Jason Temrick. It was a year ago we were here at this very exciting event. We're looking forward to more fun today, and we've already had a lot of fun today.
Oh, we've had a fantastic day. We started off with 43 competitors. We've got down to our top 5 now. Who knows what the step ladder is going to bring for us, but we've seen some huge games today. It's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, some thank yous before we get into the official matches.
Yeah, I think it's important to say thank you to Shaw Spotlight for their continued support of this event. I'm glad that they came out again and broadcast this and given us this opportunity. Hopefully, we're going to work this into a long-term relationship. And I want to say thank you to you for coming out and donating your time to put your spin on this event as well. So thank you very much.
By all means, Jason, it's my pleasure. Let's get into our final 5 contestants here at the Bill Todd Memorial at Holiday Bowl. We are rolling with the first portion of, Jason, you'd call this the stepladder portion of the tournament.
Yeah, this is the step ladder. The top 5 qualifiers out of our round robin this morning now roll off in the sudden death playoff. Mike Hershey finished 4th, so he got to choose, and he starts us off with a strike.
Wow.
He gets to choose whether he wants to throw first or throw last, and he opted to go first. He is our defending champion from last year, so it's good to see him qualify and be able to retain his championship.
Yeah, it's starting this stepladder off with a bang with, again, last year's champion Mike as part of this first portion. It's very exciting.
It is. He put on another good performance today, just much like he did last year. This year for the 6-game qualifying, he averaged a total of 249, so he threw very well.
And just before we got into this portion of the day, what you've had earlier, I heard some of the numbers that were being thrown around, some of the big scores of the day. It was quite impressive.
Yes, there was a lot of big games thrown today. A lot of 300s. I believe 341 was the high game of the day, but several 300s and a whole bunch of high 200s, 290s, 280s. Really good display of bowling this morning.
And like last year, you've had participants from throughout Alberta today, is that right?
That's correct. We've we have a bunch down from Medicine Hat. We even had one fellow come down from Edmonton. He was down last year as well. Last year he qualified for the step ladder. Unfortunately this year he didn't quite get there, but he made the trip anyway, and we thank him for that.
Now we've had a lot of bowling action already throughout the day here at Holiday Bowl. This is the first portion that we're showing on Shaw Spotlight. Now, there are people at home that maybe don't understand the scoring system.
Well, the scoring system in 5-pin is a little bit different than 10-pin. In 10-pin, every pin is worth 1 point, whereas in 5-pin, the head pin is worth 5 points, and the two pins behind it are worth 3, and then the corner pins are worth 2 each for a total of 15. And that's why it's 450 for a perfect game in 5-pin as opposed to 310-pin.
Nice double by Mike. When you do that, you don't have to worry too much about scoring, except, again, this is something that for non-bowlers, they may not understand. Mike first had a strike in the first frame, got a strike in the second frame. That adds to his score.
That's correct. If you get a strike, then the next 2 balls that you throw count in addition to the strike. So he got 15 for a strike, and then he threw a strike in the second frame, so that adds 15 points to it, and then whatever he threw on his first ball in the third frame would also add to it. So unfortunately he punched a head pin, but that gives him a total of 35 points in the first frame.
Now, have you seen a technique that can clear that set of pins when you've gone down the middle? You and I bowled together, and we talked about this at last year's event. That was a long time ago.
That was a few years ago, yes. Yeah.
And I don't recall of having any kind of strategy really that would clear things very well.
It's a very difficult spare. You have to come in at a pretty sharp angle and hit the 3-pin pretty thin and hope it cuts across. Back in the days when there was free fall, sometimes you get an interesting bounce that you might be able to do it. But now that we're all string pin, it's a very difficult spare.
Again, for the non-bowlers at home, how many frames are we looking at in this game?
There's 10 frames in the game. So Brad's just in his 3rd frame right now, so he'll have 7 more frames to kind of make up a little bit of the deficit here.
7 and 15 count. Come on, buddy. All wood.
Before this year's tournament, just coming up shy of the 2-pin on the right there. Before we started this tournament this year, I was thinking of our broadcast last year and, you know, the necessity to give the bowler their time and their concentration up at the lane. But it also that too just
break.
doesn't want to go down.
No.
Oh, an afterthought. Yeah. But I was thinking, in golf, why do they talk so quiet in golf? They're not right beside the golfer. They're in the broadcast studio. Why do they talk so quiet in golf?
That's a really good question. I'm not really too sure. It looks like we got a little bit of a delay here.
This was interesting. We've got a little bit of the history of 5-pin bowling to share with you today. You and I bowled together back in the 80s. I had a lot of fun with that, and I certainly go out from time to time with my family. You're here as a regular at Holiday Bowl as part of the establishment. I didn't realize a guy named Ryan actually invented 5-pin bowling, and he was Canadian.
Yeah, 5-pin is strictly a Canadian game. It was invented by a guy by the name of Tommy Ryan. It was way back in the early 1900s, and yeah, till this day, it's only bowled in Canada. It's bowled nowhere else in the world. It is strictly our game.
I don't think I knew that. And then again, it was a year later that the first 5-pin bowling league was formed at Ryan's Toronto Bowling Club. So if there's other Ryans out there, you've got a first degree of separation from the guy who created 5-pin Canadian bowling.
That's right.
It took a few years, though, for the first perfect game to be bowled. That was in 1921 in Toronto. Perfect 450.
Yeah, perfect games in 5-pin bowling are very hard to come by. It's not like 10-pin. You look at their pro tour, and every one of those guys have 3-4 perfect games. The top bowlers in Canada, most of them, if they're lucky, they have one. You know, it's a lot more difficult.
Have you ever had one here at Holiday Bowl?
We have throughout the years. Now, Holiday Bowl's been around for like well over 50 years, and in all that time, I think we've had a total of 7.
Wow!
And it's been a good 7-8 years since we've had one here. It's been a while.
What kind of celebration takes place when you get a perfect score?
Well, there's a whole lot of cheering, a couple of drinks purchased, and if they do it in league or tournament play, then they also get a lot of prizes awarded by both the Proprietor Association and the 5-pin Association. It's quite a big deal. It's very well celebrated amongst the bowling community if you're able to do that.
I bet. Fantastic. Now, this is the 3rd annual Bill Todd Memorial. We're back at it now after a quick fix. And Bill, a big part of the bowling community here.
Yeah, Bill was somebody who was very special to us. He was a guy that he really did accomplish everything there was to accomplish in this game. He was a national champion. He did throw a perfect game. He was one of our coaches in our youth programs for many years. He really gave back to the game, and very, very predominant figure in the bowling community.
Mike's been good at finding those strikes.
Yeah, he's throwing a beautiful ball right now. Nice and smooth, hitting his pocket.
Now, what does it take to get to this point of the tournament? They had a lot of participants playing since the early hours of today, and we're down to the final 5 players.
Yeah, we started off with 43 participants this morning, and basically they bowled in 2 different categories. There was a scratch category and a handicap division. The top 5 qualifiers in the scratch category, which basically means that it's just straight pins. There's no points added additionally. Those are the 5 that then go onto the step ladder. And then the format here is very simple: 4 plays 5 and a 1-game sudden death, and then the winner will play the 3rd place qualifier, and so forth until we determine our champion. Now Brad was actually in our step ladder last year. There we go.
Very nice.
That one looked a little bit better.
So that automatically adds to his spare from the previous frame.
Right.
That spare was getting all the pins down on the second ball.
Yeah, and then it adds whatever you throw on your next ball. So the first ball into the next frame, whatever you throw will add to your spare in the previous frame.
That turned into a 15 onto his score, and
that was an interesting break. That looked like it could have been a head pin, and it looked like it could have been aces, and then he wound up getting a corner pin. So that actually worked out pretty good for him.
Nice.
He picks up the spare, capitalizes on that break.
And that counts as the second ball to go on the score of his strike from the previous frame.
Yeah, the first, yeah, so now that he got that spare, that would go count for 15, added to the 15 on the strike. So that gives him 104 after 5 frames with the spare in the 6th.
And we have a 1-point separation in the game till this throw.
Another beautiful ball by Mike. So with that strike on the spare in the 5th, that gives him 133 after 5 to Brad's 104. And a big double for Mike.
Got to be happy with that.
Big double, big double.
Puts a little bit of pressure on Brad here. Brad actually threw back-to-back 282 games to qualify to sneak into 5th place to get into the step ladder. Finished the tournament very strong.
So further to my question of what it takes to get here at this point of the Bill Todd Memorial 3rd annual event here on Shaw Spotlight, there's the logistics of it, but as a bowler, what does it take to get to this part of the tournament?
Well, it's all about focus. Staying focused, staying into your routine, and just tuning out all the little distractions, and just focusing on your game, taking it ball by ball. In a tournament like this, everyone's gonna get bad breaks. Everyone's gonna throw maybe one bad game, but you can't let that get you down, and just keep plugging away and do what you got to do out there.
With this many games in a day, do you find stamina enters into it, or does that actually help the concentration that you're just doing the same thing over and over?
Stamina doesn't really play that part in it. There are tournaments that they bowl more games than this in a day. The ones that bowl the tournaments are used to it. It's more about focus, because when you do bowl that many games, sometimes you do tend to get a little bit distracted. You do tend to get, I guess, you break your routine a little bit. But so it's just about staying the course.
All right, our screen has gone red and says halted with an exclamation mark. Explain what that means.
It looks like the 3-pin is missing the rubber band on it, so it's going to take a second just to replace that.
Now, since 1909, man, doing the math, what is that, 110 years since bowling was invented here in Canada, the
Yes.
5-pin. celebrating with the third annual Bill Todd Memorial. There are rules and regulations, certainly at this level of play. The rubber bands weren't always there on the pins. And you have your lane judge as well?
Yeah, we should give a big thank you to Rick Westaby. He's our judge of play today. And this is why he's here in an event like this. Any kind of discrepancies or any kind of equipment failures or anything like that, he makes the final decisions. You do have to take a course to become a judge of play, and then once you have that, it's completely voluntary. So, our judges of play really make these tournaments work. Very important to the game, so we really do have to say thank you to them. Missed his corner pin there, so that's going to be an open frame for Mike. If he picks it up, it'll be 219 in the 8th.
Doing the math here, and with a with a throw like that, is there any way that Brad can catch up to Mike?
Let's have a look here. Well, I guess he's gonna have to strike here. I mean, it's very important that he puts a strike on that spare, and he's gonna need a little bit of help here from Mike, because Mike's got a potential 309 there if he strikes out.
And he gets it.
That's an unfortunate corner pin. He really needed that strike there.
Now, sparing it up on the final frame like this, what does that give him for his last throws?
Well, with the spare there now, if he throws a strike here, it gives him a total of 234, which is where Mike is now. He really needed that first strike, and then hope for Mike to give him an open frame. So leaves another corner pin, gives him a 232. So he brought that back quite nicely, but at this point, it's pretty safe to say that Mike's going to be advancing on in our step ladder. Hit that one just a little bit thin.
And again, for our non-bowlers, 2 balls thrown counts to the score on the previous frame, as he's on his strike.
Yeah, so he gets the spare, so that'll give him 30 points in the 9th, and then the spare in the 10th with another potential 30 points here with the strike. Well, missed the middle, but he still winds up with a 269, and our defending champion will be moving on.
Now, in the process, as we get another 2 bowlers up here, Mike will be going on to compete against.
The third place qualifier was Troy Seitz. He's a bowler out of Medicine Hat, and he averaged 250 for the tournament this morning through some big games as well, so it's going to be a really good match. looks like Mike will be starting us off here.
Ooh.
Oh,
It's doing a
quite,
dance, but didn't go down.
No.
Now, was Troy involved in last year's tournament?
No, he's new to the tournament this year. He's one of 6 that came down from Medicine Hat to participate today. So. Kind of stuck there a little bit, but he still hit the middle. Got a chop off.
It's certainly a manageable spare. Talking about bowling in the 80s, actually, like we were, it was just back in 1983, 5-pin bowling participated in the Canada Winter Games in Quebec for the first time.
Yes, they. I believe that they are no longer in the Winter Games, unfortunately, and I don't understand why, being the Canada Games and this being Canada sport. But yeah, for a little while there, it was actually part of the Canada Games.
Maybe they just need to do an outside version.
Yeah, maybe.
Call it the Holiday Bowl Holiday Classic.
Sure.
There's a nice one.
Yeah.
Now, in a conventional bowling game, you wouldn't throw 2 frames at a time. You're 3 balls for those 2 frames. But
No, the 1-2-2-2 format is basically standard for any kind of match play in 5-pin bowling. Regular bowling, of course, you just bowl 1 frame at a time. Tough pick, the dreaded head pin.
I don't know how she did.
in an instance like that, do you see a strategy where the bowler is trying for the slim chance at making it into a spare, or just going for the most points that they can from one side of the?
Yeah, most of the time they're just gonna go for take all the points you can. Like I said, it's a very, very difficult spare, and unless you're in a position where you have to get the spare to win the match, it's much smarter strategies to take the points, move on to the next frame.
Strike on top of a strike.
Yeah, it's a nice double for Troy.
Shit, his first 3 games last 900.
Wow, it's 3 in a row.
That, Jason, is
That's what they call a turkey.
and that's something to get excited about. Very nice comeback from Mike.
Yeah.
Now, this being a Canadian game, are you familiar with where the phrase turkey came from?
Quite honestly, no, I'm not. I don't know how that ever came about.
Ooh.
At this point, we would like to say just thank you again to Shaw Spotlight for their continued support of this event. They've come out now. This is the third year they've come out and broadcast this for us, and we're greatly appreciative.
And it's fun to be here in a format where, you come out for a night of bowling, you have your buddies at your little table, your own little cheering squad, but we've got a substantial amount of spectators here that are cheering on our final bowlers of the day. Makes it exciting.
Absolutely, and that's one thing about the bowling community, a very supportive group.
Wow. So Troy with 4 strikes in a row.
4 in a row.
You got a big flashing 4 on your score screen here. Doing the math here for, again, the non-bowlers at home. He's had 4 frames of the first ball thrown, taking care of the 15. So
Right. So after the third strike, it would be 45 on the first one, and then it continues on now for 45 for each frame that he can continue on with the strikes, because it's be the 15 plus the 15s from the 2 following strikes. So points that up real quick when you start stringing them together.
do you remember the days of having to keep track of the score with paper and pencil?
I do, actually. Not too many of us around that still remember how to do that, but yeah, kind of dating myself. But when I started, there was no such thing as electronic scoring at that time.
No, I think I talked about this last year. That was back in the days of what we enjoyed on our weekend bowling. Frames with stale cheesies and bottles of pop you got out of a steel machine that you had to be careful not to get hurt from.
Yeah, those were some good times.
Glass bottles with pop tops and
Yeah.
had to slide it out. Haven't seen one since.
No. But you needed the pop to get those cheesies down.
Yes.
So.
So Troy had a great run, 3 strikes in a row. Mike,
4 in a row, actually.
4 in a row, rather, yeah.
Before he
after the
punched that
turkey,
head pin,
And Mike with his strike and a spare, that first throw being added onto his previous frame.
That one just kind of got away from him a little bit. So he's going to have an open frame in the 6th. Troy's sitting at 174 after 6. And depending on what Mike gets here, he's sitting at 137 right now. If he picks this up, it'll be 140. Nope, so he's going to be sitting at 137. So that's where we're at after 6. It's 174 to 137. Still anybody's game.
talking about the history of bowling being invented in Canada 110 years ago. It was a decade ago. To kick off the centennial anniversary bowling season, Terry Burns of Yellowknife bowled in 100 bowling centers coast to coast over 100 days.
Yeah, he did. It was quite a trip. We had the privilege of him making a stop here in Lethbridge. And
Fantastic.
Yeah, he bowled a game here as well on his journey. That's a good solid hit. Just unfortunately, the corner pin didn't go. And he picks up the spare as well.
So where are we in the proceedings here, Jason? We've had our first game deciding with Mike going on to this round where he's competing against Troy. And we have two bowlers that haven't participated yet.
That's right. So the winner of this match is going to take on Cory Smith, who actually was out of our youth program back in the days when Bill was around and coaching. So kind of special to see him in the step ladder here in the Bill Todd Memorial. And then, of course, the winner of that one will go on to bowl Dave Purcell, who won our scratch qualifying this morning. Threw wonderful. He averaged 267 for the 6 games. He threw some really nice ones in there.
Now, I don't know if we talked about him last year, but one other participant in our weekend bowling adventures back in the 80s was your brother, Brad Temrick. And he was a participant earlier today as well.
Yeah, actually, he threw really well. He had one bad game, or else he would have been right in the hunt. He did quite well, actually. It's the first time he's actually bowled for a couple of years. So for him to come out and do so well was good for him.
Now, as kids, who was the better bowler? Do you remember?
He's going to say that he was, but I'd debate him on that one.
Nice throw.
Big strike for Mike. And Mike sitting at 195 in the 8th with a strike in the 9th. Still got a little bit of work to do here, depending on what Troy does.
So 1 out of 2 throws that will add to his spare, or his strike rather, from the 8th frame.
Just missed his mark there. So yeah, add 8 points onto his strike for the 15. That gives him a total of 227 after 8, and an open in the 9th. That makes things a little bit more interesting now. Mike can get a couple more marks. So he'll be sitting at 240 after 9.
Caught the inside, which is what he wanted to do, but didn't quite get the 2 pin.
Yeah.
Back to the youth program, there's a lot of kids in Alberta that participate.
There is, yeah.
In the bowling program.
The numbers have been really good over the years. last year there's 1,671 registered kids in Alberta, so just under 11,000 nationally. So it's very well participated.
It's great to see it's a timeless sport. It's been around for 110 years. Still going strong.
It has. Well, it's a game that endures because it's something that everyone can come out and enjoy. Doesn't matter if your skill level, your age, doesn't matter. It's something that you can still come out and participate in.
So throwing a strike in the last frame.
Well, that makes it a little more interesting because now if he spares this off, that gives him a 270, where Mike still has a potential 285 out there if he strikes out. Had Troy struck out in the 10th, he would have had a total of 285 as well. So, but with that opening, it's 265. So there is potential there now for Mike, depending on what he does here, to sneak in there and steal this one out in the 10th frame.
So is there anything Mike can do here if he spares?
No, unfortunately, he needed that first strike. So we are definitely going to be crowning a new champion this year. Finishes with a solid 238. It was a good matchup. Made it interesting, but Troy pulls it out, and he'll be advancing on to bowl Cody in the next round. All right, so it looks like Troy's going to start us off. Cody was the higher qualifier, so he had the option, so he elects to let Troy start.
Is there any strategy to that?
It's more personal preference. Some people like to put their opponent out there and let them have the pressure throwing the first ball. Other ones, they like to get out there and throw the first ball and maybe put the pressure on the opponent. It's all a matter of what you're comfortable with. That was a very interesting.
And that's is that what you call a lucky bounce?
Yeah, that's one thing you can call it.
That's something that's very rare. Is that something that the lane judge would be looking at, or is that's part of the game?
It's just a freak thing. It doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while you'll get the pin will take an odd bounce and come back and hit another pin that it probably shouldn't. But it does happen every once in a while. He cleaned it all up, so takes 15. We should probably mention and congratulate the winners of our handicap division from this morning as well. While we got a moment here, as well as the scratch division, every participant was in what they call a handicap division, and the way that works is they calculate. Nice ball from Cody there. They calculate your handicap based on your average. So in this particular tournament, they take the difference of your average from 250, and then they take 90% of the difference. So for example, if your average is 200, you take that from 250 and then take 90%. So 45 would be your handicap, and that would be added to each game. And the idea there is that for the lowest average bowlers, that kind of evens the playing field. So everyone is automatically entered into that category as well. And we should mention that in the women's side, Alicia Hershey, Mike's wife, actually won the ladies' side.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, she took home $300. And then on the guys' side, we had a fellow by the name of Dylan Goslin, who's from Medicine Hat. He took $300 home from the men's side. So congratulations to them.
I think it's safe to say the Hershey family factors bowling in as a regular family event.
Absolutely. Mike came through the YBC program, and now Mike and Alicia have their kids in YBC, so they're definitely a family of bowlers.
So we've got all kinds of things happening in this game with Troy and Cody. I must say that the style in footwear has changed over the years since you and I bowled and what we had access to.
Yeah, when we started, we had to wear the house shoes, and you know, those weren't pretty. But nowadays, you can get just about anything. Shoes they range. You know, your own personal shoes can range anywhere from $80 right up to you know, $400 or $500 now. Some of the fancy stuff that they have out there.
Can you get anything embroidered? You see any?
Well, yeah, you can. There are some companies out there that will custom design them for you. So.
Any standout bowlers here at Holiday Bowl that you can think of that have the most coveted shoes?
Well, I wouldn't call them coveted, but I know of one guy that had them custom made purple and pink pair, and
nice.
they sure stand out. Let me tell you.
Never confuse shoes with another bowler.
Having a little bit of rough luck here. Back-to-back corner pins. Both of them were good pocket hits, unfortunately. Just corners didn't go.
There we go.
Gets the spare. Gets his first mark of the game.
I'm seeing back in 1990, the rules changed to allow the use of personal bowling balls. You know, you see in movies and whatnot, people bring in their bag, bring in their ball. Is that ever part of tournaments?
Absolutely. Most bowlers now prefer to use their own equipment. House balls are all different sizes, and of course, you know, good ball there by Cody. You know, they're chips and different things. So when you start using your own equipment, it gives you that consistency. You know what you're throwing. You know the weight, the size of it, and you get comfortable with it, and it just makes it a little bit easier on you.
Not so much as the casual bowler like myself, where you realize I want the ball with the smiley face on it.
Yeah.
Still working on a strike from the previous frame.
Just missed to the right side. It's going to give him a 20 count on a strike in the third. And then clears the deck, so going to be sitting at 69 after 4 frames.
I don't know if this is still the case. Tax laws change every year, but back in 2007, Youth Bowling Canada leagues qualified for the new Children's Fitness Tax Credit. Actually, they just completely eliminated the I think the Children's Tax Credit, didn't they?
Up until last year, I believe that they were still able to claim that, but that has changed, unfortunately.
Oh no, I want that.
Another corner pin. It's 3 in a row for him. But it's a good count on the spare. Gives him a total of 58 after 3. And he picked up the spare.
Now, the bowlers in this tournament, how much would you say they bowl in a month, in a year?
Most of them bowl a lot. Most bowlers are in 1 or 2 leagues, so they'll bowl once or twice a week, and then a lot of them bowl the tournaments as well. Once you get into January, February, there's tournaments pretty near every weekend for them to go into. So they're throwing a lot of games each week. Some of them bowl a little bit less, but for the most part, I would have to say, at minimum, anywhere between 6 to 10 games a week anyway.
Now, looking at the intricacies of the game when you get at that level, is it muscle memory? Is it just repetition playing so much? Is there technique that you can learn even at the advanced stages?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's, technique plays a big part of it. You have to find what you're comfortable with, and then of course get into the habit of doing the repetition, finding your mark out on the lane. And a big part of this game is the mental aspect of it as well. It's focus, being able to tune out all the little noises around you, being able to when you do get that bad break, just take it out of your head and just continue on, throw the next ball, don't worry about it, put it behind you. These are all key components to having success.
And those purple and pink shoes are just a bonus.
Those are a bonus, yeah. I think those are more to distract the other bowlers. Now a head pin. Just having a little bit of rough luck here. 3 corner pins and then a head pin.
We've been talking substantially about the youth that you involve here at Holiday Bowl, but really it's a sport for all ages.
Yeah, absolutely. We have mixed leagues for adults, and we have our 55 plus program for our seniors. Great program, and there again, we have some people. We have one gentleman that's in our 55 plus program. He just turned 97.
Oh, fantastic!
And he still comes out every week and bowls.
Good for him.
Yeah. It gives them an afternoon out, to socialize and everything, and for the most part, for them, score doesn't even matter. They just want to come out and have fun and socialize, and it's really great to see. Big spare for Cody.
Got to be happy with that. There's been a lot of back and forth in this match.
There has been some tough luck and some near misses, but we've got a pretty tight match here through it all. Three pin on the spares, that gives them an 18 count in the 5th. So after 5 frames, Troy and Cody are tied. They both have 87.
One more ball for cleanup on the frame. And just shy of the 2-pin.
Gives them a even 100 after 6 frames.
I'm always excited when I can get 100 in a game. That means I got at least 10 for each
You
frame.
got 10 for each frame.
Yeah.
So
That's my standard. If I can beat that, it's always an exciting day. Nice throw.
it's a big strike for Troy.
Now, can I ask, is there any specific technology that goes into making that lane that they're playing on smooth as glass, which it looks certainly from our standpoint here?
Well, it's an acrylic surface. It's a synthetic surface, and there's a lot of lane maintenance that goes into it. They get cleaned every day, and twice a week they get a fresh coat of oil on top. Now you don't oil all the way down. You oil it, just past the arrows out there, so that way once the ball gets through the oil and hits the dry patch, that's when you're going to start to see the motion of the ball breaking one way or the other. Yeah, a lot of time, a lot of hours go into maintaining these lanes and making sure they look the way that you see them when you come into bowl.
And now we're into the second game here. What do we have left in the tournament once this is decided?
Well, once we determine the winner in this match, then they're going to go on to take on Dave Purcell, who won the Scratch Division. So, and then the winner of that game will become the champion for the Bill Todd Memorial for 2019.
So we're getting close to the finish line. It's very exciting.
We're down to the final three. Started off with 43, and we've whittled down the field now, and we're down to 3. So.
Now, what can you share with us? What's happening behind the scenes at the moment when a lane is being repaired?
Well, in this particular instance, the rubber on the head pin wasn't quite lined up properly, so we just take a break, and then we just make sure that we get that all lined up and where it needs to be. Most of the time when you see a break in the action, it's because the strings get tangled back there. That's the number one cause of any problems. But
that was a common issue, I think, when we bowled back in the 80s as kids. And much like on the Flintstones, I always thought there were monkeys up there that were pulling on the strings. There's another lucky bounce.
That's another
He's
weird
had 2
bounce.
loads.
Yeah, that's 2 in one game of those. Huh?
Take what you can get, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, he takes advantage of that break and gets the spare.
We've talked about the youth league, we've talked about participants of all ages, and there's also some participants that have been in the Special Olympics over the years.
Yeah, we run 2 different programs. We have the Special Olympics here on Thursday afternoons, and that's... Oh, and Cody answers back with a big strike with his own. Special Olympics runs Thursday afternoons, and that is for individuals that have special needs. We also have what's called Inclusive League, and what the Inclusive League is it makes up of teams of people with special needs and then people without special needs. So it gives them an opportunity to kind of integrate into regular mainstream bowling, and it's been a wonderful program over the years. We've seen kids that started off in Special O and then went into Inclusive, and then next thing you know, you see them bowling in the men's league, because they've had that experience of bowling and with people without special needs, and they get a little bit more comfortable with it, and it's a wonderful program, and we run that on Thursday nights and Friday nights, so really good program.
So Cody followed a strike. His first ball to add to the strike was the head pin, and then he took out a few more.
I had to go to 3-2 on the right side. That dreaded head pin. Picks up 13 points, so he's sitting at 138 after 8.
It's really a back and forth match. It's not.
It's been a battle, yeah, for sure.
Still enough time that really could go either way.
It really could, yeah. A couple of marks for either one of them. It's going to be a game changer here. So that gives them 20 on the spare in the 7th. So gives 137 after 7. And then whatever he gets here in the 8th. to the right side, so he's going to open up this frame, and it's going to get really interesting here coming down to the final 2 frames. We've got a very tight match.
He takes it with authority.
Yeah, so it gives him a total of 152 after 8. So only 14 points separate the two of them here, coming home with the final 2 frames to go. Looks like we're going to have another delay here as the rubber is off the 3-pin.
Again, the 3rd annual event of the Bill Todd Memorial here on Shaw Spotlight. It's great to be back again, and again, it's great to see participants, families from all over Alberta that are part of the event and cheering on the contestants.
Absolutely,
the athletes.
Yeah, wonderful support from the bowling community here. We've got a full house here supporting the step ladder, so it's really good to see. And I want to say thank you for coming back and doing this again with us.
I can't believe it's been a year already.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, eh?
So no black marks that score is adding to.
Nope, but he chopped it off and can pick up a big spare here. And he does. He picks up the spare, so puts a little bit of pressure on Cody now to pick up a mark here in the 9th.
Sure, and I guess the term black marks is dating me back to when we used pencil and paper. Now the marks are more yellow and blue on your on your scoreboard. We see another one of those glorious turkeys in all its yellow graphics.
Unfortunate corner pin, but it's a very important spare here for Cody. And he picks it up. So
nice throw for a spare.
So it's all going to come down to the 10th frame.
Another good game.
Yeah. Having some trouble with the rubber back there. It's down again. So, and that's really unfortunate when the bowlers are up there in a position like that, and it's an important 10th frame, and they kind of get into a little bit of a groove. You don't want to have to stop and kind of break their focus and concentration a little bit. But
sure, at the same time, they've been bowling all their lives. They're used to this.
Oh yeah, no,
this is part of bowling, and
it's a part of the game, and it's unfortunate, but it's not like they haven't seen it before.
In 2019, there's the digital side to it, but that's the fun of what I enjoy with bowling. It's a hands-on analog activity. It's physical pins in front of you, and something different's going to happen every time.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very good ball, just an unfortunate break. So this is a very important spare here for Cody. With Troy sitting on a mark in the 9th, he's going to want to pick this up and get a big count on it and put a little bit of pressure on Troy.
And it wasn't tough to knock that down, but under all the pressure, who knows?
Absolutely. Now he's gets a good count on it here, and it puts a little bit of pressure back on Troy.
Ooh.
Yeah, unfortunate head pin on the last ball there, so.
Again, a real back and forth game that's just it's kept it in nobody's court, and it's kept it interesting right to the very end.
It has been interesting. Unfortunately, a lot of bad breaks in that game, and that's what kind of kept it close. So at least it was interesting, but unfortunate breaks on both sides in this one. So he gets the chop off. So he's sitting at 187, and Cody finished with a 188. So he essentially just has to hit one of these pins in this next two balls, and he's got the match.
And he takes it.
Yeah. So even before throwing this ball, that gives him 189, and he will be advancing to our finals, where he will be meeting Dave Purcell.
No 450 perfect game in this round, but it wasn't required. It was just a battle against the other participant. And we saw that battle go back and forth many times.
Yeah, for sure.
A very close final score. Now we have an exciting final match.
Yeah, our championship match is coming up. Dave Purcell, who threw wonderful today. He has bowled it in all three years. The first year he was in the step ladder. Last year he didn't qualify, but it's good to see him back this year, and he's in the driver's seat, winning the scratch side. So all he has to do is bowl the finals. He didn't have to go through the whole step ladder process. So.
And Troy has played several games in front of us here, so. Again,
yeah,
you see that as a benefit. Maybe he's dialed into the zone, or that he might be getting a little tired after the day.
Well, it could work either way. You know, like having to bowl as many games as he did at this point, yeah, maybe his focus is kind of shifting a little bit. But on the other side of that, Dave, who finished the day really hot and threw really well, now he's been sitting for the last hour, so he's got to try to refocus and re-get back into the groove. So that break is not always necessarily a good thing for them. So.
Now, with what's transpired, have we decided a third place finisher at this point?
Yes, Cody's going to finish in third. So far, the way it's going to work out is Brad Whalen finished in fifth, Mike Hershey finished in fourth, and Cody is going to finish in third. So those spots are determined already. Those payouts are already done. So now it's just who's going to become our new champion and who's going to take second. And Dave has opted to throw first. Being the higher qualifier, he gets the choice. And it looks like he wants to be the first one out of the chute here. Starts us off with a big strike.
Interesting technique, and it worked for him. Off camera, I didn't notice it, but you have some practice and warm-up lanes. Was he busy over there?
Yeah, in a situation like this where it's match play, generally what happens is while you're waiting for your match, when the participants that are bowling get to the 7th frame, then you are allowed to go and throw a few warm-up balls, just so they don't have that much of an advantage over you when you come into your game. So.
Now, is there technique that will go into clearing this? He was going in between the 2 and the 3 pin.
Yeah, again, it's a very difficult spare. You want to aim in for the inside of the 3 pin, so that way you'll clear your 3-2. And if you hit the 3 pin thin enough, you might get lucky and bring it across. Once again, we got a rubber delay.
1963, the first automatic string pin setter introduced. So they didn't eat monkeys after 1963.
Well, I don't think they ever actually used monkeys, but well, I guess technically they called them pin monkeys, so that's a.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, the strings were introduced, and it really revolutionized the game. It was a little bit dangerous back there for pin setters.
I bet.
You know, sitting back there and they get paid so much per pin to set them up, but you get some of these hard throwers. Don't imagine it would have been a very pleasant job.
At home with my 3-year-old and 6-year-old and 11-year-old, I'm the pin monkey for our plastic pins.
Yeah.
I don't get paid anything.
No.
No, it's the prestige of the job.
And comes back with a big strike.
Nice camaraderie even between the contestants.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the nice things about bowling. Like I said before, the bowling community, you know, you're not hoping for the other guy to do bad on any level. You know, you just want to beat them outright. You're hoping that they do well and that you do just a little bit better. It's a very encouraging community, and it's just a wonderful environment to be around.
Wow.
Big double for Dave.
Dave has an interesting technique.
Here, have the medal. Don't put any more effort in than you really have to.
He's got his own cheering section back there.
Opposite of the strong silent type.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if the broadcast is picking it up, but they're very excited.
Yes, they are. There's the turkey.
To start the final game of the third annual Bill Todd Memorial. Man, I don't know how you get any more exciting than that.
And that's really good to see for Dave. Dave's a guy that's been bowling here at Holiday Bowl for many years. He bowls several leagues. He's a coach of our youth program. It's another one that gives a lot back to the game, so very happy to see him here in the finals. Troy doubles up.
Yeah, he's not backing down.
My kids watch.
Answers with a turkey of his own.
Like our previous games that we've seen the bowlers go head-to-head in the finals here. I don't know how to make it any more exciting than 2 turkeys back-to-back.
He threw it. He missed his mark and he threw it pretty thick. He obviously assumed he was going to get a head pin there, but he got
felt
the spread.
Felt the sting of defeat and turned around and missed the happy dance. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Out of the gate.
5 strikes in a row. Now, I was here with you last year. I remember an exciting final, but do you remember this many strikes in a row in a Bill Todd Memorial final?
I don't think we've started any of our stepladder matches with 5 out of the gate, so this is pretty exciting. I know the crowd is sure responding behind us here. Oh, an unfortunate head pin. Would have been nice to see Troy get the 4th one there as well and keep this run going.
Again, every game is different, every match is different. We saw the last game that Troy bowled. They were both bowlers running into their challenges, and this one, strike after strike. Ooh.
Missed the 3-pin, but still he's sitting at 134 after 5. That's a pretty solid start.
Again, we're getting quiet during the throws. We don't want to distract the bowlers by any means, but it's a very active environment here. A lot of excited viewers here live at the 3rd Annual Bill Todd Memorial.
Yeah, the fans behind us are certainly getting into it.
On Shaw Spotlight.
Yeah, how could they not get into it with the exciting bowling we're seeing here?
And I hope if you're viewing this on Shaw Spotlight and you're a non-bowler, you've learned about the sport, not only some of the fantastic Canadian history, but also how to play the game enough to get excited about giving it a try yourself and maybe showing up at the 4th Annual Bill Todd Memorial.
Absolutely, we'd love to see a bigger turnout. Everyone's welcome, so come on down and give it a try, or even just come down on one afternoon and throw a few balls and have some fun.
You're always here. You love to chat.
I'm always here, yeah. So come on down and say hi.
Ooh, there's his first 5-pin.
Yeah.
After 5 strikes in a row.
Yeah, 5 in a row, and then the dreaded head pin.
That's going to add to 2 frames back.
Takes one side, and that's about all you can ask for in a situation like that. Get all your points and move on to the next frame. Put it behind you and start it up again.
Left side. Hit the bigger one of the 2.
And he cleared the deck, so sitting at 210 points after 6 frames.
Nice cleanup. I know we haven't decided our winner yet. We still have 4 frames to go, but I think people are going to be talking about those 2 turkeys back-to-back with these contestants.
Yeah.
Dave and Troy going hard at it in the finals
Absolutely.
of Bill Todd Memorial here at Holiday Bowl.
Hit that one thick again, but got another bit of a break there, and he winds up leaving just a corner pin. Oh, it didn't quite hang on. So he cleared the deck. 225 after 7.
So Dave with 3 frames remaining. Troy has 4. What do you think here, Jason? Doing the math, is it still open? Is it still possible?
It's definitely still there. Troy's going to have to get some marks. He's going to have to put a little bit of pressure on Dave here, get a couple of strikes. Get Dave thinking about it a little bit. missed
And that's
that
what
first
Troy
one.
needed.
Yeah, that was a big strike.
Must be exciting to be at this part of the tournaments here at Holiday Bowl. You've been here for the entire day. Start of the day, it was anybody's day.
Yeah, absolutely.
We know who our 3rd, 4th, and 5th place finishers are. We're deciding the final 2 here, and we're into the final frames.
Yeah, no, it's been a really exciting day. Throughout the whole day, you know, you're watching the leaderboard, and you know, it changed almost every game. There's different people up there, and you never really knew what was going to happen until the last game, and just made for a real exciting day all the way around. And then, of course, the step ladder hasn't disappointed as well. We've had some really close matches here, so just again another wonderful tournament here at the Bill Todd Memorial. Just pull it to the right there a little bit. This is a pretty important spare for him here. He wants to make sure he gets a couple of marks here, keep himself in the match.
Ooh, he was in the right spot. Just didn't take down the big 5-pin.
Yeah, at this point, you just want to make sure you get all your points here. Now Dave's in a position where if he gets a couple of marks here, he can really put a capper on this. But nothing's impossible. It's still anybody's match.
Gary, you know what time you're allowed to be bored? One ball, any ball, we want a strike ball. Let's go, boy. Come on, man. What are you focusing so much for?
Broke his concentration there a little bit. And sometimes you see that happen when
Think about it.
something catches a bowler's eye or they lose focus for a second. It's always good to step off the lane and kind of, you know, regroup a little bit.
So Dave throwing no strikes or spares to be adding to his score. An open frame on the 8th.
Go, buddy. Come on, Greyhead.
And the
That's a big
concentration in the moment to collect himself. Gets another strike.
She feels better. That's not what I say, man.
hit. Having some fun with the crowd here now.
They're excited too.
Just a little thin.
Celebrating 110 years of bowling, 5-pin bowling since it was invented here in Canada by Tommy Ryan. He was inducted posthumously in 1971 into the Canada Sports Hall of Fame. And a great way to celebrate with this fantastic tournament here today at Holiday Bowl.
And another big spare for Dave. It's going to be pretty tight here for Troy. He's got if he strikes out, he's got a 277 max. Dave's already with that spare. He's sitting at 270. So, yeah, that's pretty much going to seal the fate. He needed that strike in the 9th to have any hope whatsoever, and even that, it was a pretty slim one. Dave's throwing a very solid game at him here. So.
Troy's had a big day getting him to this point in the tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done well. He has nothing to be ashamed of here, that's for sure. Finishes off with that dreaded head pin again in the 10th. So he finishes the day off with the 219. Dave's going to finish off his 10th frame here, but it's all semantics. We know that he's going to be the 2019 champion of the Bill Todd Memorial.
Yeah, get over and keep.
Looked like he was going to go out with a bang, regardless of the sure win.
Way to go, Baldy.
Hit that 5 square on the nose, though, and that adds to his spare from the last frame, and a substantial score that looks like it might even top one of the high scores for this lane from your league.
Yeah, it's he's still going to finish off with, if he clears the deck, he's going to have a 290, which is a very solid game. So he bowled well all day. So congratulations to Dave.
And congrats again to all our participants that spent the day here for the 3rd annual Bill Todd Memorial. Not only had some good scores, but had a lot of fun in the process.
Absolutely. Finishes with a solid 290. And we have a new champion.
An exciting wrap-up to the 3rd annual Bill Todd Memorial here on Shaw Spotlight at Holiday Bowl. Jason, we had a fantastic time here throughout the day. It was incredible, and what a finish for the last couple of games. Yeah,
it was an amazing day, amazing finish, really exciting. It couldn't have asked for a better tournament today.
We had a lot of turkeys. That was a good thing. We had a lot of excitement, and we have 5 place finishers here that are going to get some check presentations.
Yeah, absolutely. Our 5 qualifiers for the step ladder, we're going to call them up one by one, present them the checks here as to how they finished. So we're going to start it off here by presenting a check to our 5th place finisher for $125, Mr. Brad Whalen. All right, finishing in 4th place was our last year's champion, Mike Hershey. Came back, qualified for the step ladder, and unfortunately didn't get to the finals this year, but he's still placed in the money. So if we can have Mike come up here, he wins $150. And finishing in 3rd place, a YBC product that Bill coached over the years, Mr. Cory Smith. If you want to come up here, we got a check here for $175. Okay, finishing in 2nd place, we have a gentleman from Medicine Hats by the name of Troy Seitz. Come on up here, Troy. You won yourself $250. Congratulations. I'm going to give you the check. So why don't you just kind of give us your thoughts on the tournament, and what did you think, and what were you feeling going into that final matchup?
Well, I was quite nervous. First time on TV, so that had something to do with some of the shots I threw. But I think the center hosted very well. The Todd family's got a wonderful picture of him here, and Holiday Bowl is, like always, great to come bowl here. So that's what I got.
All right, well, thank you very much. Congratulations again. Thank you for coming down, and hope to see you again next year.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, I'd like to call on Bill's daughter, Haley, to come on up and to present our champion for the Bill Todd Memorial. So, it's okay. It's okay. Okay, so this is Haley Todd. This is Bill's pride and joy. He loved her like you wouldn't believe. So we're very excited to have her here to present the trophy to our winner. So and I know it's hard for her to speak, so I'll just speak on her behalf and say, you know, on behalf of the Todd family, she would like to thank everybody for coming out today and participating in this wonderful event. So at this time, we're going to call Dave Purcell, our champion, up here. So Dave, come on up. And a little.
They want a picture with Bill Todd.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem. I'm going to present you a check for $400. Okay. And Haley's going to come here and she's going to present you with our championship trophy. So congratulations again.
See, I told you, cheaper is better.
So congratulations, Dave.
Left a little bit. They want a picture with Bill Todd.
All right, so we got to do a photo op here. So.
Photo for posterity and a fantastic day here.
Yes, thanks again for coming out and participating. Thank you to Haley and the Todd family for your support. Wonderful event, and we're glad to host this every year on Bill's behalf. So thanks again.
Another exciting day, third annual Bill Todd Memorial here, Shaw Spotlight presentation at Holiday Bowl.